Just want to know, are you a serial addict? And what I mean is about serial addict is it just food that you've been kind of obsessing over the last few years or decades? Is it just food that you've had a problem with in the past? Are you finding this question a bit weird? I'm going to explain to you a little bit more by sharing my personal experiences with addictions. But before I go into that, if you haven't met me before, I'm Mel. Hello, and I am a rapid recovery rebel because I help hundreds of people who've suffered from binge eating for years and decades to stop really rapidly without using the traditional therapy methods and the long-winded methods, to be honest, like yoga, breathing, meditation, journaling, and even meal plans. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I'm a bit of a lazy therapist. I like to get it done as quick as possible. So getting back to my video, before I continue, I just want to say hi in advance because I'm still not getting this tech. I cannot see anyone saying hi. The comments have disappeared. Freaking Facebook keeps blooming changing everything. I don't know why they keep blooming changing everything, but they keep doing it, and I'm doing this blind. So sorry if I'm not saying hi. I'm there really, and I will answer any of your questions or comments after I upload the video. And if I get time later on tonight, I'm going to try and figure out what the hell is going on with this Facebook so that I can see your comments at the same time. So going back to this video, are you a serial addict? The reason why I'm saying this because I had suffered from disordered eating pretty much all my life, specifically really bad for over 22 years from the age of about 14 years old. However, after I did therapy and kind of backtracked to events in my life, this is what I identified. So I noticed that I was actually addicted to pretty much anything that you could be addicted to. So I started smoking at a very, very young age. I think I had my first cigarette at the age of 8 or something like that. But then I started smoking heavily into secondary school. So around about 12, 13 years old. And then I went into pot. And then, so this is my past. So if any police are watching me, you can't arrest me now because I don't do any of those stuff anymore. Nah. But I did go through that. So I got into pot, then got addicted to amphetamines. So that's like speed. They say the poor man's cocaine. And to be quite honest, it was like, I tried both cocaine. Speed was just a lot cheaper. If I could have got addicted to cocaine, I would have done back those days. It was just financial reasons that I didn't. Then I was an alcoholic for a while. And then for ages, I was addicted to relationships. So it didn't really matter whether or not the man was good for me or whether they were bad for me. I did not go without a boyfriend. As soon as I finished with one boyfriend, I would go to another boyfriend back to back. So I'm like really dishing out my dirty laundry right now. So just to show you, if you're feeling embarrassed about your past, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt up teen times. And shamefully, while I was dating men, I was also a cheater because I was addicted to love. It was almost like I had this love tank that needed to be full, but it had a massive hole in it. It just kept draining. I needed constant attention, constant love, and the way that I would fill that love tank is to have back-to-back boyfriends and also some on the side, shamefully, and that even was not enough. So, and this, bearing in mind, I was high, I was drunk, I was this party girl trying to get attention. So, and that would be my whole life. And then not only that, I was also a workaholic. So even work, the serious stuff, I'm supposed to be like a good girl, I managed to find a way to get addicted to work. It was never enough. I couldn't just have a 9-to-5 job. Whatever I did, I had to go full on. And then because I worked in the big bad city in London, as soon as I finished work, I just went to the bars. I was in central London, so it was easy for me to go to the bar and just got drunk and then stroll home, well, staggered home, more like, and crash and then back running to work because I was also addicted to exercise. In in between all that, addicted to food. So could you imagine the carnage of my past life? Some of them I was addicted at the same time, like compulsive shopping. I was always buying something new pretty much every day. I was skint. I had no money. If you can imagine, all this stuff cost a lot of money. Drugs, alcohol, designer stuff. I didn't buy just cheap things. I bought designer stuff. I was very privileged, I guess, working in London, getting good money. So but I was skint. I had no money because I spent it all on designer gear. Never felt satisfied, by the way. And what else? Oh yeah, I was OCD as well. Do you have OCD as well? A lot of the clients that I work with, it's quite common actually, OCD, when it comes to disordered eating. And what do they say about OCD? Trying to control your environment. At least if you can't control what's out there, you can control your environment around you. You can clean up and tidy up. So I had OCD as well. There's a difference between OCD, by the way, and just having respectful, tidy area. I would be, for example, I would bleach my floor 4 or 5 times a day. I did have a dog, but, that's kind of extreme, right? So bleaching it every once a week, that doesn't count as OCD. As soon as somebody sat down, or like wiping the side or making sure the shoes all lined up perfectly, I had that as well. So yeah, all these things I didn't realize was all connected to the same root or origin of where the disordered eating came from as well. So when I say disordered eating, I was binge eating pretty much, and back-to-back dieting. So it's always feast and famine, feast and famine, feast and famine. I was exhausted with eating because it was not enjoyable. It was more like when I ate it, it was like almost like I hadn't eaten in 1,000 years. I could literally breathe the food in, didn't have time to sit there and enjoy the food. I was like a starved, refugee, like trying to shove this food in my mouth in desperation, as if like I was someone from jail. Or I'd be so stuffed, and then like the next few days I'm like, oh God, I can't do that again, because I'd be in this remorse, self-hatred, this guilt, and then I would go out and buy stuff to make me feel happy instead. So why am I sharing this? Because many of my clients have suffered the same. It's not just the disordered eating. People keep trying to treat the disordered eating because it's not the disordered eating. It's the problem. It's what lies underneath. And if you don't sort what lies underneath, it then moves. It's almost like a rugby game. So mine started with smoking, then recreational drugs. So it's almost like this rugby game. You're passing the ball. So like I started off as a child just needing love all the time, and then I went to passing it to the smoking. Yay, thank you. And then the smoking, right, I'd quit that, and then pot. Woo, the pot will catch that, and then it will be alcohol, and then it will be shopping, and then OCD, and then it's the eating. It's just passing the ball, or the real issue around not really resolving what that is. And when I actually did white knuckle it to stop binge eating, I was very proud. Like I did it the old fashioned way, like everyone would say, ignore the urges, dismiss the urges, ride the waves of the urges, lock that squealing pig in a cage. That's the latest one that I've heard. You have to lock that squealing pig in the cage. But it's still just dealing with a symptom, because unbeknown, while you're locking the squealing pig in a cage, it's manifesting in another form. You're still thinking about it. It's not dealing with it. It's like yesterday's or the day before's video. It's like rubbing, like throwing all those things under the carpet, but not being dealt with. Sooner or later, and I've seen it time and time again, it's like people have abstained to these addictive foods like sugar and processed foods and chocolate and crisps and things like that. 2 years down the line, they're like, oh, I saw a bag of Maltesers and I just couldn't stop looking at it. It's because they haven't dealt with the reason why they wanted the bag of Maltesers. It's not about the food. It never is. It never is. With the hundreds of clients I've ever seen, and it wasn't for me either. Because when I stopped binge eating the traditional way, yeah, I stopped binge eating. But then I noticed other things in my life was still not quite right. One of the things that I developed after I quit all that and stopped binge eating is that I got rage. So angry. I'd always been like a little uptight little child, like a little pain in the butt. That's my Filipino come out of me then. It's like butt, pain in the butt, pain in the butt, puet, if you want to know what bum is in Tagalog. It's puet, pain in the puet. I was a little bit of a, bit of a naughty child, again, because of my past. And but when I stopped binge eating, I was so angry. And I have to say that I almost destroyed my current relationship because everything was peeing me off. Everything was just annoying me. It's like, I don't know if you've ever had like stopped cigarettes and you go through that phase where you just want to kill everyone, but I was constantly like that. And I feel sad because I've lost some friends during that phase, and I was just not a very nice person, and I hurt a lot of people during that time of my life. So even though like the addictions and that, I was just hurting myself, but the anger at the end affected other people as well. Even though the others did affect it, that was the worst thing for me because I hadn't dealt with the root of the origin of all those things that I was passing the ball to. Once I dealt with that, guess what? I very rarely lose it. And if I do, I have more control over the way that I behave. I'm not reacting anymore. I'm not using stuff anymore to try and deal with situations. I can almost, like when you have this addictive, I don't know, when you're stuck in this addictive cyclone, the way that I see it, like I was for all those years, passing around all those addictions. It's very hard for you to see things very objectively when you're stuck in the middle. And when you find the root cause, it doesn't stop the things that are happening outside. Let's face it, we're on planet Earth here. Everyone is individual. Everyone has a different opinion. But when you're stuck in this cyclone of yourself with your addictions, it's very hard for you to see the way out unless you are unless you have taken the step outside, which is what happens is when you find that root cause, instead of like reacting or binging or smoking or drinking or shopping, you're able to see, that's not that annoying. Why do I want to binge? That sounds a bit silly. Because when you're out of that cyclone of addictions, of binge eating thoughts, that you can see what it really is. Because I know, like, when you're actually in it, it's very hard for you, even though logically you're thinking, why do I keep binging? It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, even though it doesn't make sense to you, you still can't do anything about it because you're in there. You're in it. You're feeling it. You're doing it. It's very hard to make decisions when you're in there. So anyway, I hope this video has kind of helped. Again, my job is to help you maybe like start moving some of those cogs that are stuck in the mind and maybe start a few wheels going and kind of stimulate your mind to make the changes that is going to help you in your recovery journey. Because the most powerful words are the words that you say to yourself, and you've probably heard that a million times. But nobody can tell you to recover. Only you can tell yourself to recover. And it only takes that one thought, that one decision to make those changes for real. Okay, thank you for watching. And again, sorry if you're leaving comments or saying hi. I want to say hi back, but I cannot see anything at the moment with this new Facebook layout, so I do apologize. So if you haven't met me before, I am Mel. Hello, and I am a rapid recovery rebel, bit of a mouthful there, and I help hundreds of people stop binge eating, even years and decades of suffering, rapidly without using the traditional therapy of yoga, meditating, journaling, breathing exercises, did I say that, or meal plans, because we get to the root cause. And when you get to the root cause, just like drinking water and sleeping, if you sleep well, all those natural things that we're supposed to do naturally, it will be the easiest recovery you ever experience. Okay, until the next time, keep strong.